All right, guys, I have a long waiting review of Fortaleza Tequila. This has been a long time in coming. I've been sampling a lot of different bottles. This was one of the higher quality bottles that I bought, I think, early on as I was beginning to sample tequila. And I'm interested to revisit these bottles after I've had more to sample. One of the things I've noticed is you develop more of a flavor profile, sensibility about what you like as you continue to have various tequilas. And these bottles in particular, I remember very fondly because they introduced new like flavor profiles. But now that I've had probably 20 different tequilas, it's going to be interesting to go back and see what the flavor is like, what I think of them. And I'm going to try the Blanco first. I want to start with something that's a little more light and then go to something that's a little deeper, more caramel notes. Over time, I have noticed that I like Blancos. I really am not finding myself wanting to sample immensely Reposados and Añejos. You're getting more notes of the cask and the wood that it is stored in. And though much like a whiskey or a scotch or something, it does add flavor notes. I just like the Blancos. They're less expensive. I feel like I'm tasting the agave more than I am the woody notes. These bottles in particular were super interesting because this pina on top, they have a wonderful real cork. There says that they're, excuse me, it says that they are hand blown glass bottles. I think that they look inordinately nice on a shelf. This is the tequila lover's choice. I see tons of fans of this specific tequila talking about it, and I do think that it is great. So let's try it and see what we think after all this time. I'll actually switch that guy around. But these have a real cork. And I get some herbaceous, almost like grassy notes. I'm going to pour just a little, just enough to get a good taste. One of the things I've become persnickety about is this kind of lip on the bottles. I don't like so much. It has a tendency to dribble just a little bit. Call me weird. I have some bottles that are very good that have like a little plastic piece that kind of prevents that I actually prefer. No notes of like bubble gum. No super notes of like sweetness. Almost like a hint of like rubbing alcohol on the nose. Some grassy floral notes. It makes me think of like desert flowers for some reason. There's a little bit. Is it like vanilla, maybe a little bit of cinnamon, maybe some anise, something like that? One of the things that will happen is I feel like the alcohol, especially if it's something like scotch, maybe tequila will do this as well. If I spend more time smelling it, I find the scotch, particularly Lafroig, is like this. I spend twice as much time smelling it as I do drinking it. Yeah, now there's like honey. It's not like the sweet. There's something about the nose of it, kind of herbaceous, floral. It's got stronger grassy notes. Some of the tequilas I've purchased recently are lightly sweeter, and they're touching on that almost like bubblegum, cotton candy notes. But if you're not a person who wants additives in your tequila, you can go and find a tequila matchmaker on your phone and be able to go to the liquor store, figure out which tequilas have additives and don't. I'm a big fan of additive-free tequila because I'm trying to taste, you know, 100% agave, not whatever additives they're adding to the tequila to give it a certain flavor profile. As I've had more and more tequilas, some of which have additives, I can tell that they're adding certain notes to that 1% that they're allowed to by law. I think it's like 1% by volume. Those additives are caramel colors and flavorings and things to give it a certain flavor profile. And as I have more tequilas, I understand why they're doing it, because they're trying to replicate some of the stuff I'm finding from the tequilas on tequilamatchmaker.com, the additive free labels, and they're trying to mimic some of those notes. But this is earthy, grassy, woody. It's full, it's robust. It's a step closer, I think, towards mezcal. The mezcal that I've had, it's only been a few bottles. It has a different set of flavor profiles than the blue agave, which is strictly what's used in tequila. Can only be 100% blue agave, I believe. But you can see how much it changed. It went from grassy to earthy to honey to desert flower. There's a complexity to the nose and to the flavor profile. I can say so far, having tasted this again, that it is not my favorite. There are bottles that I prefer, and we'll be able to go over those in the future. But I will never complain. If you ever offer this up to me, I will never, turn my nose down at it. But I'm becoming a bit of a snob and noticing that there are certain flavor profiles I prefer in the Blanco. It's as robust as a Scotch to me. It's not as, I think, overwhelming. A lot of people think of tequila as something that you would shoot. They have too many bad experiences from college. I just think this is a wonderful, robust tequila. And again, this is the Blanco. You can see on their website, we'll go through and see some of the details. They're talking about the cooking method where there's stone brick oven, the crushing method, it's 100% stone crushed. There are certain things like the fermentation is done in open air wood tanks. I don't know all of the details in relation to the water added, the fermentation process, the pot style was in copper pots. I don't know what necessarily, what my opinion of, makes a better tequila. I don't have enough background in it to be able to say. So I feel better because it says also present butter, olive, earth, which I mentioned, black pepper, I don't think I did, a deep, inviting vegetal complexity. And then some of the flavors where it talks about citrus, vanilla. So I feel like I'm getting a little bit better on my nose in relation to what I'm selecting. Let me find the Reposado here, which is where we're going next. And let me finish up what we've currently got. And the way I feel at the moment, there are other bottles that I prefer. If I had a choice to drink something, this would be the bottle. I'd probably always have one of these on hand, but I don't know if it'd be my first choice. I'm interested to try the Reposado because it's also been a while since I've had one. Ooh, almost like toffee. I mean, but it's going from a Blanco to a Reposado, so it stands out more. Oh, rich. Ooh, man. I'm used to the Blancos at this point. I get vanilla notes, honeysuckle. Mm. Mm. It reminds me of, maybe, is it apple? There's that oakiness, which I'm looking on the website, and it says that they use American oak. Let's see, where is it at here? Distinct character. People say, there it is. Each lot individually aged in American oak. It's got this interesting. Is it cinnamon? Hmm. Well, let's sample it here. Yeah, it reminds me of a deep, rich kind of like caramel apple, something like that. It's interesting, the herbaceousness of the Blanco, that almost vegetal note, is dampened, I think, due to the oak, and this almost, to me, is a little bit sweeter. Like, I think if I had to choose offhand, and this is interesting for me at the moment, it might be because I sampled them back to back. I might almost prefer the Reposado, but it's not overwhelmingly woody to me. The American oak, like, I can taste it. It's almost like a whiskey and a tequila got together and had a baby. But compared to, again, I've been drinking the Blancos, so there's a just a flavor shift that it's more complex in its nose. I want to sit there and smell it. Yeah, it highlights for me, and this is just my personal preference. It highlights why I don't drink reposados as often. And it's not because it's bad in any way. In fact, I could see why somebody actually prefers reposados. If I had somebody who was into whiskey, I would probably bring them to the añejos or the reposados first. But I feel like the blancos give a fuller essence of the agave itself, which is, for me, what I'm most interested in. It's just a personal preference for what I think I enjoy most. Yeah, it says that the flavors include cooked agave, citrus, vanilla, apple, earth, and cinnamon. Delicately spicy. Yeah, really, really interesting. So, if you guys have not checked out Fortaleza, I highly recommend it. I have not tried the añejo, and I've not tried the still strength. Up to this point, I have not sampled a still strength Blanco. I think I saw that Total Wine and More had the Cascanes still strength, which was interesting to me, but it was $100 for a bottle. So I'm gonna wait and see how my tastes, flavors adapt, change over time. But these are both, I think, really, really good bottles. I cannot recommend these, I think, highly enough. Again, they're not my personal favorite, but there's no way that I would ever turn these down. I've just fortunately had the option of becoming a bit of a snob. I will probably, when these bottles are gone, save up and buy new bottles, just so you understand that. I love the design, the bottle, the pina on top, the real cork. There are little touches that I just make this wonderful for your bar. I think it's impressive to people. It's just very nice. Even the just the colors, a little bit of the blue and a little bit of the brown for the Reposado. Super nice, wonderful tequilas. I highly recommend you guys check them out. Again, you can find it at tequilafortaleza.com. And we'll see you guys soon. Great, the tequila hit me. We'll see you guys soon for more reviews on Salud with Robert Gardner. Appreciate you very, very much.